Art reflects life, but it also reflects changes in society. To me, cars are art, and I think that the current automotive design language is a good representation of that. Cars are more than machines that move us. They're art that reflects us, from sharp and aggressive to sleek and subtle. I have a car here that in its current design really shows the direction of where the automotive industry is headed. Contemporary. This here is the 2024 11th iteration of the Honda Civic. Honda had introduced a new era of design to its cars quite a few years ago. The previous generation is what I would call the angular era, with its sleek, sharp, and aggressive angles and aggressive styling. This was to help appeal to the younger generations by having a more sleek and sporty look. You know, it's really a step up from that 8th generation Civic. Except for the Civic Si, that one was actually peak. This is what I like to call Honda's minimalist era, or as Andrew likes to call it, their boy meets world era. All the coolness and charm from the 10th generation was stripped away for this less aggressive, more premium aesthetic. And I know I'm not tripping when I tell you this car looks like an Audi from a distance. One thing I absolutely hate about all these new cars is the little dimp that they have here between the bumper and the hood. Besides all that chicanery and nonsense, as Andrew would say, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of this car. This Honda here comes with a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder 158 horsepower engine. This engine is more or less unchanged from the 10th generation, but you can get a higher trim with a 1.5 liter hybrid engine as well. You know, the trunk here is relatively spacious, enough to fit all your family needs, like your picnic, your stroller, and if your kids are being naughty, you can toss them in the back too. There's plenty of room back here in the back seats, and plenty of space up front if you're 5'6". But considering this is a working class Honda, let's take it for a spin around downtown and see how it drives. The best way to describe this car is surprisingly refined. For a compact car used mainly for daily commuting, this benefits mainly just Uber drivers. You know, it's surprisingly quiet here inside the cabin. You can't hear any wind noise, road noise, crackhead noise outside. But even a crackhead would be shocked at the state of these shock absorbers. Like, oh my God, you're gonna feel every goddamn bump in the road. It's ridiculous. This car here has a continuously variable transmission, which Honda's been putting in their cars for years. This CVT is definitely an upgrade from the previous generation. When you're accelerating, you can't really feel the gear ratios changing, and it feels just a lot more natural. Even while driving at lower speeds during stop and go traffic, Honda's really gotten better at reducing the jerkiness of their cars. That won't stop someone like me though. I almost forgot to mention, as you probably guessed, this car here is front wheel drive, and if you live in Canada, it's obviously much better than rear-wheel drive. A little bit off topic, but have you guys seen that 2026 Honda Prelude? It's also front-wheel drive, just like the Civic here. I feel like they really should have made the Honda Civic Si and the Honda Prelude rear-wheel drive cars. Speaking of which, the Si is actually the only trim you can get of the Civic with the manual transmission, but that'll run you about $40,000. I feel like recently Honda's been trying to be something that it's not. Fancy. If you take a look at this honeycomb interior that spans across the entire dash, I personally think it looks really ugly. This gauge cluster is absolutely disgusting to look at. It doesn't know what it wants to be. On my right, I have a physical speedometer. I have a digital speedometer in the middle showing me the maximum speed of the road. And on my left, I have a digital RPM gauge, which tells me to drive safely. Do they know who I am? Like, come on, Honda. Can we keep some consistency? You know, Honda's actually introduced these brand new luxury door handles just like BMW. Unfortunately, they're just cheaply plastic. When it comes to features, or lack thereof I guess, this car does not come with a 9-inch screen, but instead, a nice 7-inch screen up top, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Let's get that out of the way. As you can see, this car does not have a built-in navigation system, and it also does not have wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It has to be wired up yourself. One of the things that was so peak on the previous Civic was you could actually change the background on the infotainment system. Now, unfortunately, you're stuck with this boring gray and black screen. This car does not have a wireless charger for your phone. It does not have a side view camera. It does not have a sunroof. Does not have heated seats in the back. It does not have a front or back sensor. And it also doesn't have automatic seats. Does this car have anything? I did not mean to swear. If you look around me, we are in downtown Oshawa right now. And I'm not sure if you know this, but crackheads are actually prone to jumping in front of your cars down here for insurance purposes. Luckily, Honda predicted this with their emergency mitigation braking system. Essentially, the car will brake on its own when it senses danger. Sorry, crackheads, you will not be getting my insurance that I don't pay for. I still think this is the best lowest trim commuter car that you could buy right now. Compared to the Mazda 3, Corolla, or Kia Forte, they all have less features with an even worse interior than this one. But that also means that it's the most expensive option, costing around $28,000 for the base model alone. If you ask me, $28,000 is way too much for a car like this, just for the base model. I would say to put in a couple extra hours at work so you can save up for that touring edition with a hybrid engine to save on gas. You know, I don't really care much for hybrid engines. Personally, I love supporting my local gas stations, which subsequently supports all those oil millionaires in Dubai. Honestly, this car is pretty boring for someone like me. I wouldn't really consider it, or most of its competition for that matter. This car has pretty limited options for tuning. And honestly, if you're gonna tune this car, please get an SI without a CVT, I beg of you. However, if you're just a guy who's looking for a commuter car that drives and has working AC, personally, I think that a Corolla is just the better option. That's about it. Drive safe.